Welcome to Reckless Disagreement, the only show on the internet you can trust. I'm your host, a sexy genius, and I've spent the day memorizing poetry because of this scene from Good Will Hunting.
As a matter of fact, I won't, because Wood drastically underestimates the impact of social
Wood drastically underestimates the impact of social distinctions predicated upon wealth, especially inherited wealth. You got that from Vickers. Work in Essex County, page 98, right?
Because Matt Damon is a brilliant mathematician, he has apparently memorized entire history textbooks right down to the page number of certain important quotes. Hence, I figure if memorizing history textbooks makes you a good mathematician, memorizing romantic poetry will probably help me figure out how to escape from this YouTube bunker I've locked myself in. That logic follows, right? I'm getting a little desperate. So let's just get right to discussing all the weird assumptions Hollywood makes about smart people.
It is a melancholy truth that even
Great men have poor relations. Dickens.
Oh, no, I know Hamlet. And what he might say with irony, I say with conviction. What a piece of work is man.
I get what they're going for here. If your brain has all this extra space, you may as well fill it with expensive sounding words, right? But the ability to repeat things other people wrote down doesn't necessarily mean you're smart. Think of all your friends who can recite Bill Pullman's speech from Independence Day.
We will not go quietly into the night.
Which is actually pretty close to what's happening in this famous scene from Tombstone. First, Doc Holliday's like, in vino veritas. Then real quick, Ringo's all, agi quod agis. And then Holiday gives him a look, takes his time, and says, credat Judaeus appella, non ego. Ringo takes a second, then, juventus stulturum magister. And then Holiday's all, in pace requiescat. That's not a conversation. Credat Judaeus appella non ego is a semi-anti-Semitic line from one of Horace's satires that means, let the Jew appella believe it, not I. Holiday says, evidently Mr. Ringo's an educated man. Now I really hate him. But really, they're just throwing semi-relevant famous quotes at each other like a couple of 19th century Jake Peraltas.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Besides, what kind of loser would spend all his time memorizing lines from his favorite... Well, this is a little bit different, but you know whenever a genius movie character quickly solves a Rubik's Cube?
Piece of cake.
Solving the cube isn't an insane feat. Anyone can do it, provided they read the instruction manual that comes with every Rubik's Cube. It's a party trick, like knowing origami or quoting Dr. Strangelove. Oh, and I've decided after very little research that this phenomenon can be traced back to J. Robert Oppenheimer, who reacted to the first ever successful nuclear bomb test by remembering a quote from Hindu scripture.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
But he didn't actually say it, he just remembered it. Because if he had really responded to the first ever nuclear explosion with, I am become death, destroyer of worlds, everyone would have been like, ugh, shut up, Julius. The J in J. Robert Oppenheimer stands for Julius. Was that clear without me explaining it? Here's an incomplete list of smart characters that are also huge dicks. You got your Dr. House, your Tony Stark, your John Nash from A Beautiful Mind, Mark Zuckerberg from Social Network, Henry Higgins from My Fair Lady, Nathan from Ex Machina, Caleb from Ex Machina, Ava from Ex Machina eventually, Sherlock Holmes, Alan Turing, Julian Assange, Dr. Stephen Strange, wait, how many Benedict Cumberbatches have we had here? A whole batch of Cumberbatch. Now that was terrible. I should learn how to edit so I can cut that out. In real life, you can be a genius and cool to people. It's true, I've seen it happen. In fact, the tendency is toward the opposite of this. The smarter you are, the more aware you are of your own shortcomings and the knowledge that you don't have. It's dumb people who tend to be cocky and overestimate their own intelligence. This is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. The people who think they're wicked smart are actually wicked dumb. For example, see men explaining jokes to women on Twitter, most of Reddit, or the people correcting my abridged definition of the Dunning-Kruger effect in the comments below. Yeah. I know about you. I understand that there really have been smart people in the world who are also dicks, but the infatuation with them that movies seem to have is still pretty baffling to me. It's like we think the best part of being smart would be not having to tolerate other people anymore, which, like, life hack, you don't have to be smart to be a dick to people. You can be dumb and mean. That's just some information for you to chew on. Cumberbatch. You're better than this, Sergeant. Movies really like to show us smart people writing on glass. I don't have much to say about this other than it's weird. Are smart people too distracted by their own genius to keep a notepad around? Scraps of paper are everywhere. I have one here, and I'm literally trapped in an underground bunker with a bunch of DVDs and some camera equipment. I'm living off rat stew and refried beans, and even I know where the damn notepad is. That's all. Oh gee, I just thought of something clever. I should write it down.
When did you become an expert in thermonuclear astrophysics?
Last night.
When Tony Stark needs to build something, we always see it happen because Robert Downey Jr. looks great with his shirt off, especially for a 52-year-old man. Wow, 52? Looking good, Bobo. Bobo and I are friends, which is why I get to call him Bobo. But there's nothing sexy about working your brain muscles, so movies just skip that part and make brilliant ideas seem like they pop up with no warning like boners sometimes do.
No, tell me.
Well, each of his messages begins with the same 5 letters. C-I-L-L-Y. So I suspect that Silly must be the name of Fizamore.
It's impossible. The Germans are instructed to use 5 random letters at the start of every message.
Well, this bloke doesn't.
Love will make a man do strange things, I suppose. In this case, love just lost Germany the whole bloody war.
Oh! What is that? What's the matter with you?
Genius.
We all go for the blonde. We block each other. Not a single one of us is going to get her.
We love this idea so much that we write it into true stories. Alan Turing didn't crack the German codes because of something a girl said in a bar. It would have been illegal for her to discuss her decoded transmissions with him at all. And John Nash didn't invent the Nash equilibrium because of a pretty blonde, because that's not even how the Nash equilibrium works. Wait a minute. Matthew Good was in The Imitation Game, and he was also in Watchmen, where he played Ozymandias, who sometimes quoted Percy Shelley, who wrote Epipsychidion, which sounds like Epiphany. Epiphanies do happen in real life. But this is still part of Hollywood's weird aversion to showing us characters who actually work for a living. Would Tony Stark ever attend a board meeting? Batman sleeps through his. Indiana Jones sneaks out of his office window to avoid grading even a single paper. Those people are all geniuses. I'm not saying we have to have a 45-minute scene where Indiana Jones gets in trouble at tenure review, but it's kind of weird how much we idolize laziness. American culture has this major hard-on for pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and paying your dues, but all our really brilliant aspirational heroes never do any of that.
These smart arms are controlled by my brain through a neural link. Nanowires feed directly into my cerebellum, allowing me to use these arms to control fusion reaction in an environment no human hand could enter.
Quick question, Dr. Octopus. Are you a physicist or a neurologist or a roboticist? Because you just casually described incredible breakthroughs in all of those fields. And you know what? It's not fair for me to use a supervillain. Let's stick to normies like Lucius Fox from Batman, who not only knows how to design and build a train system, but also how to run a multinational supercorporation and cure fear toxin, but fine. Again, I get it. We're still in superhero movies. Dr. Elizabeth Shaw from Prometheus is an archaeologist, an astronaut, and feels comfortable performing an autopsy on an alien head. Those are 3 very specific skills that require a lifetime of study, and the third one isn't even a thing. And bringing back Will Hunting, he's not just a great mathematician, he memorizes textbooks, already said that, and is a total expert in the probably made-up field of reading people's minds based on their paintings.
Maybe you married the wrong woman.
Maybe you should watch your mouth.
And this is a problem that has bled over into the real world. Bill Nye, the science guy, isn't an expert in all of science, but we treat him like an expert in climate change because he has science in his middle name. I mean, I agree with him, but we may as well be getting a take from Dennis Quaid since he at least played a climate change expert in a movie, which is why real climate experts have issues with what he says. Also, you know how Stephen Hawking occasionally predicts the end of the world? That's fine, but it has nothing to do with theoretical physics, which is his area of expertise. Science is actually like a whole bunch of different things. It's really well illustrated by this cartoon by Professor Matt Might, which shows a circle containing all of human knowledge and shows a PhD as a tiny little red dick poking out toward the rim. Which, by the way, vindicates the entire point of my show, because we've conclusively proven that movies are screwing with our heads and making us dumber, so this isn't just a bunch of pointless observations. These are real problems. I'm doing important work here. We all are. Together. Let's finish up. There's the title. Have you read it? Is it long enough? Great. Cool. Let's go. I'm not really worried about smart people. They're gonna be fine. If anything, they're probably in on it, trying to fool us, make it harder for us to know what's really going on so they can stay one step ahead. My God. What are the smart people hiding? Oh well, it's probably boring. I mean, they're just a bunch of nerds anyway. Oh, damn it. Thanks for watching our video. Hit the C in the middle to subscribe, hit the bell at the bottom to be notified when we put up a new video. And for those of you who stuck around, I met a traveler from an antique land who said 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert near them on the sand.